Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it. We have a pretty nice crowd today. That's really exciting. No pressure. No pressure on me. So, as usual, we'll give people a few more seconds to log in, because I know how that is, trying to get in. By the way, if you're new to our little gang here, this is Frash. Frash is a manufacturer of acoustical products. We are located in Arlington, Texas, which is between Dallas and Fort Worth. We manufacture everything here. We focus on acoustical products for ceilings, walls, dividers, and acoustical lighting. My name is Slavi Younger. I'm one of the co-founders, and I will be teaching this class for you today. I'm really excited. It's a little different than usual. I still see people trickling in. So let's give them 30 more seconds and then we will get going so we don't run out of time. I hope all is well on your end. I hope the weather is decent where you are. We had, we're in Texas, so it's 48, which is cold for us, but we're managing. Anyway, so let's get going. As I mentioned to you guys before, my name is Slavi Younger. I'm with Frash. I tend to turn on the camera just at the beginning so you can guys see it's a real human at the other end. But I'm kind of end up looking at myself because it's right here and it's kind of distracting. So I like to turn it off, plus you don't want to be looking at my big head this whole time. So this is really just my way to say hi. It's 10:02, so let's get going. All right. All right, there you go. All right, I have already introduced myself. As I said, my name is Slavi Younger. I'm one of the co-founders of the company. I do spend quite a bit of time with you guys because I do love education, the education part of the thing, and just hearing what you guys like to do next, what's working, what's not. So I do spend a lot of time on education. So what are we going to be talking about today is research and development. I know it's kind of a different name for a course. Usually it is on the next product or it's an educational acoustics. So I know this is little different than usual. So what is it that we are trying to say? Well, we are a pretty innovative company, and we do want to figure out a way to sort of include you guys in what we're working on, what's going on, and just, it's always a balancing act between when something is ready, and we're trying to figure out different ways to do this so it really kind of works for you guys and we can really have a really nice loop. So we'll talk a little bit about why this and why this way. Then I'll show you where on the website you can navigate to see the research and development section on our website, and then we'll go over the products that are currently on there, and then we'll finish with just the nitty-gritty of how to get more information, how to get a quote, pricing, that kind of stuff about the products. So before we start, we were kind of debating, actually, honestly, guys, if I had a little more time, my plan was to interview some of the folks that are leading some of the effort, but instead you have a wall of text. I apologize for that, because sometimes we run out of time. So the reason why we have this R&D page is because it fits within our design philosophy, right? We wanna know what's going on. We wanna know what you love, what you wish was different, and so we can help. So you can help us, and we can really do things not in a vacuum, right? How do we improve and create things that really matter, right? And the innovations can come from all kinds of different things, right? Could the product look better, right? Is how it ships could be improved? Is the installation, is there room for improvement there? And all that kind of stuff. So this is sort of just our philosophy that we go off of. And as I mentioned, I was going to interview people. One of them I was going to interview was Gary Nightingale, but ran out of time. But he was kind enough to write some words for me that I can share here with you. So as you guys know, probably know, Gary is a co-founder of Fraj, and he's the lead brain, if you will, behind product development. And the reason I put the feltrepreneurs here is, that's kind of become like a coin term in some of our meetings. Like, is this what a feltrepreneur would do? A mix of felt, which since everything's felt, an entrepreneur would do. So much so we actually made T-shirts, if you can believe. So what are we doing? Like, we want to see what's out there, but always go like, okay, could it look better? Could it install easier, right? Could this particular thing that's already out there solve a different problem, right? So, and of course, and is it badass? Those are Gary's words, by the way. So that's kind of where we sort of think about and where we are. So that's why we wanted to do a page on our website, and I'm going to show you how you can navigate to it and what does what. So when you go to our website, which is fraj.com, you'll see a new icon in the corner up there called R&D, which takes you to this page that shows you can already see there's quite a few products already on there. This will grow, I can tell you guys, quickly, and probably sometimes may feel randomly, just depends what, how much new stuff we have that it can show you. Because of that, we added some filters, so you now see ceiling products. You can click on their walls, dividers, or lighting. So when you come in, it is a simplified version of a product page. There's a hard option there you can click. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. You have a few visuals. You have some drawings available to you, and there's also a one-page tear sheet that you can share with your customers, right? So there's basic information about the product, some drawings. Is it available to be customized? What are the colors and that kind of stuff, right? So just one-page basic sheet. So this is kind of how you can see what's out there and find the next thing maybe that your customer is looking for. So what's the deal with the hearts? As I said, and you've seen in the previous couple slides, is we are curious to hear from you, and we also would like to, this kind of allows us to share the ideas early and often, right? So we can show you, hey, here's what we've built, here's what we've designed. What do you think? Right? So the next thing is, what do you think? So the hearts would kind of tell us like, hey, people are really responding to this one. No one seems to pay attention to that one, right? That's one. Obviously, the biggest, the most powerful answer is that you actually want to have something quoted, or you want to have something you're ready to order. That's obviously the most powerful sign of interest, obviously. And they kind of will let us know, okay, does this require full product launch with all the paperwork that a product would deserve, and does it need to be moved to our regular product page? By the way, guys, this is very important. I wanted to say, every product I wanted to show you, every product you see here, it's not just in someone's head. These things have been made for a customer. So these have been made, created in real life, and they actually are installed somewhere, right? So this is not just half-cooked idea, right? We have actually built it and developed it and everything else. We want to share with you what we've done, sort of, if you will, behind the scenes. Okay, so let's take a look at the first set of products, which is ceiling. The first one I want to show you is that I'm starting with here is Cluster. This one actually comes from our friends at 1468. As you may know, we have a partnership with 1468. They're a really cool design firm in UK. We have a whole line of products from them, and this is their latest creation, which I think is absolutely fantastic. It's called Cluster. It follows the same design philosophy of tongue and groove that they use, which means there's absolutely no glue. Everything just holds together through pressure using tongue and groove. The elements come in two sizes, small and large, and they create some really interesting ceilings, right? So I think this is absolutely beautiful. You can do a subtle color and repeat it as you see here, or you can really kind of create modular pieces, as you see here, at different heights to really kind of give it attention. Also, really cool way to define space using ceiling instead of a ground. So it's certainly an interesting thing to do. And as I would say, this is probably about all 1468 ceiling products. It's almost like a art installation, right? So this looks absolutely beautiful. It comes with the hardware that connects to the item, and then aircraft cable holds it to the ceiling again, because it's made of PET felt, as everything around Frush is. It is very lightweight, therefore the installation is very simple and doesn't require any special hardware and particularly strong ceiling. The next one is another ceiling item called hashtag. This is probably my favorite. So here's the thing about hashtag. The reason it's named hashtag is because when you see this at the singular module, it looks like a hashtag, right? What it does do is it actually uses a patent pending connector technology we're calling Connecta. I'll show you a little more about that later in the webinar. But what it essentially does is allows you to connect the pieces essentially forever, and the connections are internal, therefore invisible. So you do not have another material color to contend with. You just have a continuous product. You can connect in several different ways. You can keep the ends exposed, as you see in one of the clouds here, to kind of have it a little more like a plank look, or you can close it, close the openings completely to kind of create the box look. The other beautiful thing about this is it's designed to be the size of our LED linear lighting, so you can actually add a linear light to the hashtag as well. So you can create some really cool things, right? You have this continuous ceiling with some lights in certain areas. So here's a visual of what that looks like. The reason why I am a big fan is that it's repetitive enough that it can go for miles, and it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't, this is too much, right? You could also scale it down to create smaller sections of this to define space, or even put it higher, lower, right? You can certainly do those kind of things. And because there's enough openness, it lets you enjoy the height of the ceiling, right? So it's not like it's you just shrunk the space. Here's another version of this. This one, the way hashtag is built, it lends itself really, really well to print on the material, right? Because it is folded, so you will only see the printed material. So if you have been dying to do a wood ceiling and you couldn't care less about the acoustics, this is actually a fantastic option to go with for several reasons. This is less expensive than doing it this out of wood. It weighs fraction of what a wood assembly like this would weigh, which means the installation is substantially simpler and cheaper because we're talking hanging it with aircraft cables to a basic ceiling versus some reinforced structure. So that is very much to keep in mind, is the fact that you can truly create something that looks like a natural material, especially when it's high up. We carry 36 different PET felt colors, and also we have 4 wood grain prints. You can see them here. There's birchlight, medium, pecan, gray wash, and my favorite, rich soil. That one has such a depth and dimension. That one actually really truly looks real. When you print it, it's really actually quite remarkable. So I think that this guy is my favorite. This guy is a winner in my book for sure. Okay, so now let's look at next ceiling one. This one's called Octocloud. So this one, we did let the engineering to name it. That's why we ended up with Octocloud. I guess it's for octopus. Well, really, it looks more like a floating flower, if you will, or like a little hat, if you ask me. So this is a little close, a little more whimsical. And again, like I said, every single of these products we've done for a project. So it's actually, this is really, really pretty. So let me, these are, you can see drawings as to what it looks like from every side, but these visuals kind of give you better impression of what it looks like. So this is little more gentle, right? So this is kind of almost recreates that feel of, if you've ever seen an installation, like a cool installation of a bunch of umbrellas, right? Or in a wedding when you've ever seen like this whole thing of flowers being strung on the strings from the ceiling, right? So it's sort of something that almost looks like it's floating, right? It to me kind of looks like bunch of flowers floating in the air, or butterflies and things like that. So I think it's really beautiful way to create an acoustical ceiling and a lot of interest in a space. The reason I put this close up in here to kind of show you that there is the way it's assembled, that for structural purposes, there's another little piece on the inside. But what that means is it yields itself to make it two-tone if you want, because you can actually make the inside color different than the outside. So you can certainly do that. Here's sort of what it looks like when you keep the colors consistent through the whole piece. Okay, G Cloud. G Cloud is it's a cloud that, again, the name, right? Well, this guy we did for a installation for a company that rhymes with Schmoogle. That's why it ended up getting named G Cloud, just because that was the working name and it kind of stuck. So what are we looking at here? So this particular thing is, it's ovals that have, or starts with a circle, right? That has the ends sort of cut off, which creates sort of different look than you usually see when it comes to clouds. I do think this actually, well, I'll show you some photography. It looks really cool. So that's kind of what's different about these. The other difference is there are more robust. They are almost 6 inches wide, which the average cloud, I mean, for us, we do 2.75 is usually our clouds. And I know there's many that are even thinner than that in a space. So it does give you kind of a different look. It also obviously provides exceptional acoustical performance because the air cavity on the inside, right, the hollowness of the inside is substantial, right? It's 6 inches in width, so it does provide a really fantastic performance. And so here's sort of what it looks like installed. They're really pretty. This is actually the drawing that goes with the photography I showed you earlier. It kind of reminds me that it's sort of like, maybe Braille or SOS kind of, thing. So it's, or maybe zeros and ones, if you will. Like it feels like it's repeating something and it's supposed to mean something, right? And just so that little bit of a randomness, yet repetition, I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I do like this guy a lot. Here is another visual for you guys, what it looks like if you go with one of the shapes, right? So go with, instead of the repeating three options, you can kind of see what it looks like here. And because the flat edges, you can kind of line them up and get more of a continuous line going. So definitely a slightly different look than other things in the market. I think that guy's really nice. So let's look at a couple of lights. First one is burst. So what is burst? So the innovative part about burst is it can actually be hung 2 different ways, either horizontal or vertical, and it actually does give you a very different look to what it, one from the other, just by how it gets hung up. So here's a visual of what we're talking about. You can see that you can actually do these also just like a hanging art thing without the light. If you like, you can go with light or without. What I do like about this a lot is, sometimes when you see acoustical lighting, they sometimes can seem really heavy, right? Like a big half dome, what have you, and the heaviness almost like, oh, this thing, it just feels like it's gonna fall on my head, like, right? It's like that. It's all too much. And this kind of has a little bit more of a light fixture feel to it, right? It's a little more dainty, just because the way it's cut, and it just doesn't appear as like this heavy thing ready to fall on your head. So I do think these are absolutely stunning. Another one is, this is a lantern. We named it lantern. I don't actually know the initial design we did. It didn't have any lights, but the moment we showed it to people, they're like, well, there has to be a light. So we added a light. So again, you can do this with lights or without. You know, it's a pieces that sort of assembled together to create what looks like a lantern. You can kind of see a little better here. You know, this is the size we did for this particular project, but I can imagine it being several different lengths, right? Like make it maybe a little longer, and or vary the sizes. I think that would be actually quite cool. You can kind of see it here with light fixtures inside. You know, it looks very cool when you sort of bundle them at different heights. But I also, and I don't have the photo of that, but I believe the install was actually rows of the lanterns across the space, evenly distributed at the same height, which I think that's actually sounds like a really cool idea. All right, so now let's touch on our last section we have for today, which is dividers. And dividers are kind of where I'm also going to tell you a little bit about the connector. I mentioned connector, the connecting system that has been a work in progress, getting a lot of effort and attention, patent pending thing. That is we are looking at it to do a lot of different things, right? So what is the purpose of connector? Create an invisible, sleek hardware that does the trick, right? Holds things permanently and also doesn't add another color, another material into the product that, you know, that affects its look. So what you can see here is just really tiny line in this installation, where the hardware, that's literally it. That little line is all you will see. And the last picture there, that's actually Gary holding it up. It's not that he's a Superman and extremely strong. It's because it is really light, right? If we are doing the same things as we always do for optimal performance, which is use PET only outside of, you know, slight hardware, and keep the center hollow, because you need the air cavity for the top performance. So all these products are very light. So the first one that's using the connector connectors is called block, which is a basic divider. You can kind of see what it looks like here, that can stack on top, very similar to some of our other dividers that you've done, but even simpler. Ships super easily. It's just a couple pieces you put together and it exists. Again, very light. You can move it very easily. Can certainly be a little impromptu space divider, or something that can be moved at any point, that you can see here. So that's kind of pretty basic thing what you can do with connector, right? But of course we have to take it to the next level. So we start working on few different space within a space kind of things, nooks, if you will, kind of take a big space and divide it into smaller subsection. The first one I'm showing you here, it's called hot. Well, we'll see if it's gonna call hot. We'll see about that. We're still trying to decide on that. But the way this is done, again, we're using the connector technology. What they are made out of is what you can see here is the 43-inch width piece, right? So what does that mean is that those 43-inch increments is how this thing can grow. So you can make it as wide and as deep as you need. It does have this perforated roof on top. And here's sort of what the visual of it is. You can perforate the ceiling in all kinds of different ways. You can skip the inserts in the ceiling as well. And you can play around with the colors, right? So you can do it kind of like you see it here, or keep it solid, so you can certainly get pretty creative. Here's some brighter colors, ideas with some basic furniture inserted in to kind of create a place for a one-on-one meetups. Again, very, very easy to move. It's open enough where you do not have to worry about sprinklers and lighting issues. So that was sort of the idea there. And you can also open the side some more, as you can see in the back picture there, if you really care more about the side division. So as I said about the name, we have a whole big debate with names. So for this guy, I would love to take a poll and ask you guys, which of these names do you like the best? Cottage, cabana, privy, place, or hut? And if you think we're just really, really terrible at naming things and they're all awful, please type in your idea in the chat. We would love to see what you think. Maybe we can throw a few more names into the mix and go with that. Yeah. So by the way, and if it, usually, I'm not sure if you've noticed, usually Brush tries to go with single syllable words, right, for most of our products. So if you can come up with something that is single syllable and delivers the point easily and quickly, definitely type it into the chat. Would love to see what you think. All right, about 65% of you guys voted. I guess maybe the rest of you have no ideas, or you hate them all and you just don't want to tell us, but that's okay. So anyway, so let's close it. Thank you guys. You know what's winning, which I'm not happy about, by the way, I gotta tell you, it's cabana, because that's 3 syllables. That's not okay. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So let's close this guy. Oh, this, I'm not sure why it does that. Okay, so let's do that so we can get to the next thing. All right, so our next product I wanted to show you about is, again, off of Connecta, right? This guy's for now called Fort. This is slightly different in the sense that we're going with a flat roof, which I think design-wise may be better, a more open space for sprinkler things, plus you can actually add linear LED lights to the ceiling. Again, this thing can be enlarged as far as width and depth in the 48-inch increments, which is the width of each of the panels. So let me show you what the visual of it looks like. So these are the size of a one-person size, right? But like I said, you can certainly enlarge it. Here's a different shot so you can kind of see what the top of it looks like, right? So it's open on top. So again, no issues with sprinklers or lighting. And if you want additional light, you can add the LED light into the baffles that you see on top. So sorry about this. Another poll. Want to know what you think about these names? So let me launch this one. So remember, this is smaller, at least this for now. Do you like fort, booth, spot, bunker, niche, or niche? I'm not sure which way actually say that. So please vote for us. Again, if they're all terrible and you just know the perfect one, please type it into the chat and we will add it into the hopper. Would love to hear your ideas. Okay. Yeah, you guys are into Fort. I like that. I like Fort. And then niche, which, yeah, that one's growing on me. I do like that one. Yeah. The other ones, yeah, feels like it's been done, right? I don't know. Maybe. You guys, by the way, you guys, they're such a good sport. I'm so glad you're doing this. You can imagine my position, which is I feel like I'm talking to myself, right? Because I can't see you guys. And you got your mics are muted, so I'm just like talking to myself. But when you vote on these, I'm like, no, they are there. They came to play a little bit. All right, so let's close this poll. And it's 29% for Ford and 29% for niche. So look at you guys. That's awesome. Love it. I love that you guys voted. I appreciate you. That's so awesome. Okay, so you've seen what you've seen what we have up there now. Like I said, this is not stuff just in someone's heads. These is a little more evolved than that as far as product goes. There's real products. We did it for real people, and you saw something that you love, or your customer may love. So now it's like, now what, right? So if you have any questions, price, size, availability, uh, something else that you would like to change about what you've seen. All those questions, please send those to quotes@frash.com. If you worked with us before, you know that this is an email that reaches all of our estimators. These are the smart ones, right? The guys that do all the math and calculate all the stuff, and they're super helpful, and they will definitely take care of you. So please, anything you do see out there that you love and want more info on, this is where you go. Remember, there is a basic tear sheet to get you started on the website, so please use that as much as you can, as much as you need there as well. So that is it for what I want to introduce you. I really, guys, appreciate you joining us. I really, really am glad that you were able to come today. I hope it makes sense what we're doing, right? We want to show you what we are doing, what we're working on, and we're trying to figure out a way to do it where there's enough information so you can use them, and also we can do it early enough before all the rigmarole that comes with a new product, really. So this feels like a beautiful a middle ground where you can kind of see what we do and what we're thinking about, what's cooking in the back, and maybe you can come and play because there's something that you've been wanting as well. So really quickly, we have 2 upcoming classes, one in February and one in March. Both of these are educational. One is on NRC, and the other one is on reverb, right? It's a lot of terms we throw around all the time, and sometimes it's like, well, do I actually understand exactly what it means? Do we know, are we using this properly? Are we actually describing things as they are? So as you know, in most of these classes, we try to make them super accessible, use lots of examples, and give you tricks and tips so you can be the smartest person in the room when it comes to sound. So that is it for us. I greatly appreciate your time. I am going to, if you have any questions, I didn't say that at the beginning, you can always step those under the questions. But I forgot to mention that at the beginning because I don't know why. So let's see if there's anything in here that I can answer. Also, since I forgot, I am gonna give you an ability to unmute yourself if you'd like. So if you'd like to ask a question, you can also just unmute yourself and you can ask. Okay, so there's actually a bunch of Java the Hutt. You guys are awesome. We actually got a bunch of ideas for names. Yay! Look at you. This is so fun. So the question here, though, is, do the lights come pre-assembled? I'm not sure, Ashley, at which one were you asking that about, but yes. So if you're talking about the linear lights that go into the cluster or no, I'm sorry, cluster. Enter the hashtag. Yes, they come assembled. They're in there, as well as the light you saw, like the burst. Yes, it does come assembled. You will not have to figure it out on your own.
Okay, great.
So to confirm, these products can be produced as a custom. Yes, they all can be produced currently. We have produced them before, so all the package deals have been worked out. So we just don't have a bunch of paperwork that we usually do. But yes, we can produce them. They're available to go. They will come with installation instructions and all that stuff. So they are absolutely ready to go. This is sort of just a workaround for us to sort of see which stuff is getting attention and which is the next thing that we need to do a full-on product launch on, versus kind of guessing internally what our favorites are. Thank you so much. Shelter, Shack, Java the Hut. Oh, Tower, that's a good one. I haven't thought about it. Hide, oh, that's a good one. I like that. Habana, Havana, so Cabana. Yes, that's what we need. You know what? You guys just need to come and name things for us. We're running out of ideas clearly. Yeah, these are some fun ones. Thank you so much, guys. Let me shut up for a sec. So if anybody wants to jump in, ask a question, now is the time.
Slavi, this is Lyle. Is Octa, is that just one rod holding that up, or do you have to put a couple of elements to hold it up?
It's literally just one, and it's not even a rod. It is literally just one aircraft cable.
Wow.
So if I go back, what's really nifty about Octo is that because it has that little insert, it hides the hardware, so you don't see it from the bottom, right? From the bottom, it just looks like a pretty little thing. So the hardware would come from, can you guys see my cursor or no?
Yes, we can.
You can, okay. So it comes just straight from here, right? And it's just basic little hardware and then wire. Yeah. And I do believe, I would need to check on this, that if you wanted to stack, I believe you could stack multiple ones on the same wire, right? So if you want to sort of create multiple ones, one over the other.
Nice.
Hey, Slavi, it's Erin in St. Louis. These aren't going to be 9mm only? Everything that we saw today?
Yes, they're all 9mm only. Yes, they're all 9mm only. Do you think something would be more of an interest in 12? Oh.
I'm just seeing a lot of 12mm on specs. So that's my challenge, is trying to get people to understand 9mm just as good.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so here's the thing. We kind of see similar things. So 12mm it seems like a spot people are more comfortable with because they're used to fabric wrap panels. And with those, thicker means better. So the acoustical performance between 9 and 12, there isn't any. And the reason why we're sticking with 9 is to make all these things affordable. The difference in price between 12 and 9 is more than twice. And it's not because it's a better material. It's because in order to make it 12, it's much more compact, right? So they use actually way more PET to make it, which also that's really a reason why it actually doesn't perform any better than 9, because actually the spongier, the more air pockets it has, the better it performs. So yeah, it's one of those things. We could quote this in 9mm, but it's going to be at least twice as expensive. So that's the balancing act, and visually it doesn't look any different. And usually they are the same. Oh, this is great. So will the new 12 millimeter eventually come in none? A lot of designers in my area love the heathered look. Really? Okay, that is a good thing. You see that this stuff I love to hear. Would love to know more about it. Like, so if there are stuff that they like as far as the heathered, yeah, we can see about bringing that in. You know, we had a sort of a debate because we tend to be early on a lot of things. Like we bring something in and people then love it when we're over it. So I'm glad to see, because heathered is really, really popular in other parts of the world. And I wasn't sure if that is, you know, a little too back to 70s and people are not ready for it. But yeah, we can see that. I mean, expanding colors is tricky because, you know, it's the whole inventory and all that stuff. But if there's a couple of them particularly that are really getting people's attention, let me know. Let me know, and in general, like we can, because if you bring it at 9, then we expand it to be used on all these products. Yeah. So, but yeah, I would just love to know which ones, and we can see if we can, you know, do some cool trickle in colors. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys so much. I feel like you guys stayed after class. You get extra points because it's already 10:42. I really appreciate you guys. If you think this class is helpful and you know someone that you wish to see it, or if you are just dying to spend another 30 minutes with me, we are doing this yet again one more time today, again live at 2 p.m. Central. So please share the link with your friends, and hope to see them this afternoon. Again, appreciate you so much. Thank you for great ideas for names and your fantastic questions, and we'll talk soon.